So the Yankees win again, another series sweep. So that's good. Things are turning in the right direction if you just totally ignore the fact that they lost 3 out of 4 to Boston. No big deal. But this team, we're going to get into it. I don't want to get them in trouble for scoring 11 runs. At the same time, they all pretty much kill them on home runs, and it's against bad teams. So at the very least, it's against bad teams. At the very least, Ben Rice is able to get hot. At the very least, these guys are able to get hot. So, it is something to like temper expectations or whatever. But at the same time, I think you can build off this. And, moving on to this White Sox series, you have a chance to have an 8-game winning streak if you win this all. And I think that puts them in a position where they are potentially going to be able to build off that going into September against the Astros. So, that's what we're looking at. 11-2 was your final, but you guys see the title. Is Max Fried back to being the Yankees ace? And it sure looks that way through the last 2 starts, Gary, but what say you?
Yeah, so you said that we could build off of this, right? Like build off of these wins. And I would say if you asked me about a week and a half ago, I would have agreed. I think this is more so these games. Of course, you should win them, right? Any good team should be winning these games. But having said that, I think these games actually serve a bigger purpose, which is simply to put pressure on Toronto or a Boston when you face them. Now, my expectation is that the Yankees haven't shown me anything against Boston. They've shown me nothing against Toronto, nothing against any team that is what we would consider a good team. But if you lose these games, we end up 3.5, 4 games back in a position that we want in the wild card. There's no pressure in that series. And Boston can come into that series and they can be relaxed. And they probably easily get the best of us. But Jake, before those series start, we have to take care of business. So I wouldn't even call it building momentum. I would call it building pressure. And then as soon as you've built pressure, what will the Yankees do with it? We're going to find out. We talked about Max Fried. He looked really good today. He tends to look really good against the inferior teams, which he should, right? But also, he needs to be able to stay healthy. He needs to be able to stay on the mound, and he's done that, right? It's still a big league team. He did his job today. But what's going to be interesting is when we walk into those Boston series and we walk into Houston about a week from now, what position are the Yankees going to be in? Are they going to be 2.5 back? You look up, we're only 4.5 back in the division. I sound like Boone here, but we're right there, literally, right? You're talking about a week of baseball and things can turn around. And if we were running down a great team, like an all-time great team, I'd say a 4.5 with 29 games remaining, you're cooked. Absolutely done. But when you look up and you see a team like Toronto who's good, not great, you actually have a shot. But the only way that you're going to do anything with that chance is if you can prove you can beat them. And that's where I pause, Jake. That's where I'm worried is what is this team going to do when they face good talent? You're not all going to hit home runs the way that you see in these series. I think that's a given. And they just haven't proven to me really that they can hit against good talent. So an interesting spot to be, because obviously there's a ton of Yankees fans who are like, why should we get upset when we beat the brakes off of a Washington team or a Minnesota? And I'm with you on that, but it's more so about what we've watched all season long.
No, I agree with that. I actually really like the way you worded that too. Look, it's not going to be like a sexy thing, okay? They're going to have to beat some bad teams here, and that's just the reality of it. They're going to be playing the White Sox, so if you're looking for glamorous baseball, you're not getting it the next 3 games. You're just not. It's going to be more like the Nationals, and that's if it goes the way it's supposed to. This is still, in my opinion, a must sweep. You have to make sure that you can get as much breathing room as possible, because I'm not saying this is how the Yankees should feel. This is how the fans should feel. Because if the Yankees go into that Red Sox series and, we're penciling them in to lose 2 out of 3, right? I think that's fair. Maybe they steal
Definitely
one.
Fair to say. We're well aware having hosted this show for a while now. We know the Yankees can go win the series. We know it's physically possible, but there's nothing that's happened so far this year against not just Boston, but I guess you could just say, well, what have you done against Boston alone? Is there any evidence at all where you'd say, yeah, they're going to walk into Fenway and take 2 of 3? They didn't do anything at Yankee Stadium, so that's where my reservations are. But I would probably say it's more so like stylistically our offense. You were talking about it right when we got on this episode about hitting home runs. Is that ever going to change? Are we ever going to walk into a series with Boston and say, maybe our offense is going to be slapping the ball the other way, moving a runner and putting the ball in play? Is it possible that this group ever buys into that mentality? Because I'll tell you what, Jake, I don't just watch the Yankees. I watch plenty of other teams now, right? I watch plenty of other contenders, right? I'm not watching the Pittsburgh. But those teams score in such unique ways. Just one day they'll hit 6 home runs against a bad team. The next day they play a good team. And they may go 2-1 game. And maybe they stole third base with 1 out and slapped the ball through the infield. And that was their offense. Are the Yankees capable of that? I think it's an interesting conversation just for the simple fact, you look at the bottom of our lineup right now, and I know in a day you score 11 runs, it's hard to look at the bottom where Ryan McMahon hit a home run, but the bottom of our lineup against good teams is pretty much a black hole, right? Anthony Volpe is in, I think what most would call probably one of the worst slumps we've ever seen. I know there were some numbers out there. We'll get to them on this episode. He is in a bat or 2 away from the worst stretch of Yankees history. We've never seen anything like this, and you think we haven't. Anthony Volpe is playing that bad of baseball. And they gave him, if you remember, Jake, maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, they gave him a sack bunt when he was absolutely trying to bunt for a hit. It just kind of goes to show you where we are. It worries me. And the one name that you put out there was Ben Rice. I think he's the one player who's starting to separate himself on the pack as a mainstay. And he's found himself in the lineup every day for the most part. So that's the one takeaway that I have about the offense that I'm happy about.
Yeah, no, I love watching Ben Rice do his thing. And I don't care if it's against bad pitching, bad teams, he's building off this. That's the important thing. No Stanton today in the lineup. You can get away with it against the Nationals, but I don't like this. I don't like Stanton not being in the lineup. I don't care that they won 11-2. I am going to respond to this. I tweeted out immediately, holy shit, Ryan McMahon did something. So, yeah, congratulations to Ryan McMahon on the 3-run shot. If you did more of that, I wouldn't be on your back. But, I mean, that's been the issue, is that he hasn't really done
Washington
anything.
And I guess we can, because it's really difficult, right? Because if Anthony Volpe or McMahon or Wells or really any player in our lineup had a 3-for-3 night, couple walks, like just a dominant day at the plate, it's easy to be overlooked because you're playing inferior talent. I mean, today's game was a joke. It was. Hey, it was a complete joke. It felt low leverage since what? The 3rd inning? We scored 9 runs in the 3rd inning. It was low leverage halfway through the 3rd inning. I don't think a lot of people understand that. So if there's a game for you to contribute, this was the game. I know Anthony Volpe be damned. He didn't do anything. And he made bad. 2 outs in 1 inning. For those of you who watch this game, that happened.
0 for 5.
0 for 5. And the broadcast, again, sort of took it the direction rather than just saying he sucks, taking it the direction of mechanics. They did that again. They talked about the hips flying wide open. Everything's gone at the point of attack. And you saw his final swing of the day. It just wasn't even close. And it was teed up really not a good pitcher at all. You would expect something. But I would say this about Ryan McMahon, Jake, is that we just have to know what we've got. He's going to hit bad pitching. And I think we can say not often, but he will. He can. And he's going to field his position. We're paying a premium for a designated fielder at third base. And given our position, I know you talked about it. You still like the defense from Peraza. I wouldn't have paid the amount of money that we paid for a defensive third baseman, but they paid it. And there's nothing we can do about it now.
No, it's true. There is nothing we can do about it now. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but Yeah, I guess you have to deal with it. I wanted to throw this up here. This is hilarious.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Anthony Volpe, anybody that watches NFL knows what I'm talking about here when I say this. He has a 16th percentile fielding run value, 5 percentile batting run value. My dad brought this up to me today. 77th percentile base running value. Now, understand this. He's only good at base running and he never gets on base. So you know what that is? You're going to laugh. It's literally Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He is Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the MLB. If you guys don't know who MVS is, he's known as a guy that ran a 4.2 40 time, okay? But he can't catch. So he's always wide open, but he can't catch the ball. That is who Anthony Volpe is. Doesn't matter that you can run well on the base pass. Doesn't matter you have a 77th percentile. You're not getting on base. You have 6 walks in 2 months. 6. I saw this is the worst stretch in Yankee history, the first 11 games. It's the worst.
Yep. Yeah, so I guess you can't argue. Someone's either a good hitter, good fielder, good base runner. That's it. Well,
Yep.
if you're a good base runner and you're not a good hitter, that means you need to be the pinch runner. Isn't that really what that means? You should be pinch running. Man at second base, less than 2 outs. Hey, we really want to score that run. We want to make sure he gets a good jump off a second, make sure he gets the proper read. Anthony Volpe's your guy. And keep in mind, we're only in this situation because of hype. And Jake, you know I hate that word. Hate it. Can't stand it when people say there's hype around this player. There's hype in this situation. Really what it is, when you have a top prospect, nobody ever talks about this. If a prospect doesn't pan out, that makes the GM look horrible. Really bad. Because you made a decision, we're not going to go get that free agent. We're not going to make that trade. And I guarantee you, anyone who listens to our podcast tonight, there's a name that popped in your head. Oh yeah, we could have had him. We could have made the attempt on him. The GM knows this. Brian Cashman, you guys can say what you want about him. He's not dumb enough to fail to realize that, oh yeah, I didn't essentially put 2 feet in the sand on this player. Of course he did. He was essentially married to Anthony Volpe as we go forward, and it had to work. Anthony Volpe was the one untouchable player. And that's why when you look up and say, what in the world could Anthony Volpe do to get off the field? The answer is nothing. His contract can expire. That's it. And that's the reason why the Yankees can look at a player like Caballero, come off the bench. Come off the bench. Why would a player that's been playing, Jake, you've been talking about how well he's been playing, how he looks on the field so far in pinstripes, and the Yankees apparently want no part of it in place of Anthony Volpe. That's asinine. It's a fireable offense. And of course, we're not going to be like, hey, today's the day to fire whoever in an 11-2 win. But part of the reason we sit in this position where people can't even enjoy a blowout victory against Washington is because of some of the decisions we've made. Some of the players we've decided to marry long-term who weren't worth it. They weren't. And so that's just a bummer. And we've compounded our mistakes, by the way. We've made trades for infielders to fix problems, and it's really compounded the issue. So right now for the Yankees, if the Yankees are going to be serious about being a contender, and I would say you said that the division is still open. I would agree with you somewhat. But at the very least, you should be trying to host a wild card at this point. And the only way you can do that is if Aaron Judge starts hitting good pitching, Cody Bellinger continues to be Cody Bellinger. He's hit good and bad pitching. And Ben Rice is a mainstay in your lineup. Giancarlo Stanton is a mainstay in your lineup. All of the constants need to stay constant. There's no reason to get creative. The Yankees are trying to get too creative this season. It's very different, and I know we've complained about this before, but never as much as we have in 2025. So if the Yankees are going to actually be praised by the masses, they're going to have to beat good teams by being more consistent, taking more consistent at-bats, and most importantly, Jake, putting players that play consistently bad baseball, they're just going to turn into bench players. People can call it giving up. I call it just putting the best player at every position. And if you're not playing good baseball, you're not doing that. You should be sitting down next to coach.
I can't when you say that. It's just so funny to me. Sit right down next to coach.
People make it seem like you're kicking grandma down a flight of steps because you put a player on the bench. No, that is a promotion for one of the other players on your bench. It's an opportunity for him. It's an opportunity for Caballero. It's an opportunity for him. It's an opportunity for the team. But they don't see it that way. They make it seem like they're just sending him to boarding school. Anthony Volpe is just being shipped off to Mars. They just make it seem something that it's not. And it's put us in this position. So I hope you go into Chicago, you take care of business, great. We're even closer in the standings. We should be by that point. And then I guess our chat is going to just wait and see again, just like we said in that Boston series.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, kind of looking at, everything here and, the Yankees, and they win 11-2. And it's like, you don't want to be negative just to be negative. You don't want to just, you know what I mean? But at the same time, this has to be addressed, because the way I see it, Gary, is when we're talking about this thing, this is going to come up in this upcoming series. This is going to come up in the Astros series. Anthony Volpe, and I'll end it with this, very simply put, needs to be sent to AAA. He needs a legitimate reset. Okay? The issue, and we talked about that with Judge, right? Judge is the best hitter in baseball. So if you were going to give him a reset, you give him a day or two. That'll work. Volpe, this is pathetic. This is awful. This is absolutely terrible. He's going to fall below 200. 200. And
I thought the Mendoza line, for whatever reason growing up, I thought it was 220. It's 200.
Yeah, he's about to fall below the Mendoza line. He's hitting 204.
Very hard. Very hard to do, by the way. Because
Yeah.
even when there's a player that's playing such bad baseball that you're just like, I want him to just suck and get off the field, right? Like, have it go to rock bottom where it's so bad, it's obvious, and that player's got to go. And it's just like you watch a dude go 0 for 5 and his batting average moves 2 points.
Yeah, it's
wild.
It is. And I think it's because it comes off as, oh, you're just going after Volpe again. He's just, he's a piñata at this point. But it's no, we're passionate about this team. And I'm not sitting here saying they aren't going to win the World Series, and that's that. I'm sitting here trying to find ways that they could actually salvage this season. And I don't see a way that they're going to do that if Anthony Volpe is starting every day. I just don't see a way.
At least you're trying to find a way. I'm not. I would love to. It doesn't help me if they have no chance to win a World Series. It doesn't. And technically speaking, every single team that's going to sniff the wild card technically can say, we've got a shot to win the World Series. Literally every team. The problem is, you have to ask yourself, of the teams that you're going to see in the wild card round, the Division Series Championship, and on to the World Series, how did we look against those teams? If the answer was we just got dunked all over the entire season, why would you ask me to argue for it bouncing your way in the most important games of the year? Why would that happen? I just think that would just be me looking for confirmation bias at this point. And you're certainly not saying that the Yankees are probable or likely to win the World Series. It's none of that. But it's really about, is it possible if they take care of business right now in these little spring training games that essentially we're watching, they walk into Chicago, dominate, then all of a sudden that Houston series starts, what would our audience think? I'm curious. If they walk into Houston and they win that series, and Toronto starts to fall back a little bit, right? They start losing. They had a come from behind win today, right? That was a huge win for them. If they lose a couple games and we take care of Houston, does that change the way people feel when we walk into Boston? Does it change your confidence? I'm curious. I have no idea what others think. All I know is what I think. The Yankees can change the way we view them. If all of a sudden you start seeing some Jazz Chisholm at bats, right? Where he's getting the job done. Man on third, bases loaded, nobody out. We saw that this week multiple times. And he strikes out. Jason Dominguez, same deal. Those were high leverage at bats. Those at bats in those Houston series, if we start seeing wins in those at bats, executed at bats, positives, you might see some changed opinions about this team. But right now we're in such a wait and see mode that it's almost like we're just chomping at the bit to wait and find out what they do against some real baseball teams. Jake, there's 29 games left in the season. I know Aaron Boone just literally a day ago said we've got plenty of time. Define plenty of time. There's 29 games. It's not a lot of time, Jake.
No, it's not a lot of time, and this is just
Anthony Volpe is the Steven Seagal of baseball. Did we get to Alex? We really appreciate the super. I think it disappeared on me. Apex's. It was about Anthony Volpe. Do you remember what it said?
His super chat?
Yes.
I mean, this one says Anthony Volpe, but he said another one.
Yeah, I thought it was up there. Let me see if I can find this bad boy. Yep, I think I do. Yeah, so it was Apex with the 2. He says, no slump. That's the real Anthony Volpe. I feel like that was tonight. I'm pretty sure it was. But anyways, Apex, we really appreciate it. Thank you. And Devon with the 5 says, don't let 11 runs fool you. Bases loaded, no outs in the first, and can't score a run in October. You might get one shot like that. You need to get it done. So in a game where you score 11 runs, at some point or another, you're going to falter. Like, I'm not going to read into, okay, you had the bases loaded. Nothing that happens in these games, nothing's going to make you have a takeaway for what is to happen in a big game. Nothing. You face better pitching, right? They don't pitch to Aaron Judge. They're going to pitch to, okay, in this situation, it'll be a Cody Bellinger or a Jazz Chisholm. Everything changes in those series. They go to high leverage relievers. You don't have bases loaded, nobody out. It might be a man on third base with nobody out. And your job is to manufacture a single run. There's just nothing. That's the hard part about these baseball games, is that we would be able to celebrate it if we were able to do anything in that Boston series. That, Jake, you said that we would split, and I even had to retract it. If we had split with that Boston series, are we complaining right now? Or if we had won that series at home against Boston, are we complaining right now? No.
They win one more game in the Boston series, and it could totally changes my outlook on this team. Totally. Completely.
I was probably going to say it wouldn't have changed my outlook, but if they had taken 3 of 4 in that Boston series, and that's a total flip, right? It's a huge difference. If they had taken 3 of 4 from Boston, I'm on my high horse in this series right here. I don't care that Ryan McMahon hit a home run against Washington. I'm still happy about it. Don't care. I would have cheered it on because they would be able to prove to me they can do something when it all matters, when everybody's watching. These are the dark days of the season. These are the days where, I don't know, they do random giveaways at the stadium to get people to show up. I mean, this is Washington. For Christ's sake.
Was this the Anthony? Not Anthony. Oh my God, no way. Was this the Austin Wells football jersey day?
Does anyone in our live chat know? I didn't hear any announcement about it, so I would assume no. But I'm not sure.
But yeah, Devin, again with the super chat, appreciate it. I think that this is a great point because what did I text you? Jazz Chisholm swinging for the fences with the bases loaded. What are you doing, my guy? What are you doing? You know,
in which game? Today?
Well, today, yeah.
Well, that's no surprise because in big games or small, Jazz is essentially, and he's put up really good numbers overall.
And he walked 3 times today, so I want to give him his props there. I mean, that's a good job, but
it's more so about
it's the bases loaded thing.
They can't prove, but the thing is even with Jazz with the bases loaded today, it didn't matter what he did. It was still against Washington. So that's the hard part. It's the same thing with Ryan McMahon. Ryan McMahon hit, but if this was a series in Houston, is Ryan McMahon hitting a big 3-run home run? No, he's not.
Austin Wells, that bat was so bad, and then he hit that home run, and everyone forgot about how bad it was. Did you see that?
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's been his season. Anything he does is a home run.
This at bat was awful. Like, he had the hit, like the check swing, like a total sword, and then the next pitch is just a fat pitch, and then he just crushes it. It is funny. It is. When is Anthony Volpe garbage bag poncho night?
I was like, what the hell are you reading right now?
Appreciate you, Alex. See, Alex is on one tonight. Alex is so over Volpe. See, I'm gonna defend Alex here, okay? There's a player by the name of Troy Reeder on the Rams. Alex is a Rams fan. And he has gone on record defending this guy. He's hated by every Rams fan except for me and Alex at this point. And it's so funny to me because you see him and it's like everybody just shits all over Troy Reeder. And Alex is always like, no, like, you know, he's not as bad as everybody gives it. Alex has had it with Anthony Volpe. He's so done with Anthony Volpe. It's hilarious. Because it also reminds you that we've gotten Alex hardcore into the New York Yankees. That's what's happened. Alex is a new fan.
I feel like we've converted a lot. Like, I wonder if Marion's a Yankees fan at this point.
I mean, at this point, I don't see why not. I mean, even if you don't know it yet, you probably are. Like,
it's definitely a tough team to root for. Right? If we actually peel back what the Yankees are, let's really just think about it here. The Yankees are a team that have outrageous pricing because of what was happening in the late 1990s.
This is true.
In early 2000s. That was happening. They simultaneously want you guys to stop romanticizing the past, but they're going to charge you your hard-earned money for the past.
Sounds like McDonald's.
Right. So that seems to be exactly where we are. Then free agents come around and trade situations come around, and Yankees fans will say, I really like that player. I think he could join our team. He's available via trade, or he's available for just simply money in offseason. I would love to see him in pinstripes. And the Yankees were like, pump the brakes. Not everybody can be a $300 million player on the roster. You've got to develop talent somewhere, and we've got this kid. You're going to love it. And then the kid shows up, and he's one of the just wet dog turd. He's garbage. And all of a sudden, Yankees fans are seen as like these complainers, as if we're not paying money to go watch an entertainment industry, and one of the worst baseball players in the league isn't on our team. We should be allowed to boo. We should be allowed to complain. We should be allowed to question our manager as to what he's doing. And he's being paid to take interviews with podcasters, and he's whining about them asking him basic questions, Jake. What about the throwing? What about the hitting? Oh, he's turning the corner. No, he's not. It's a lie. It's a complete lie. It's the worst baseball you've seen. So, my situation right now with the Yankees, extra salty, Jake throws it up on the screen, says, I've liked them since 1964, and I'm having a very hard time liking them now. So, you have to remember, we still have to like what's going on. Like, I know it's such a black and white thing to say you like what's going on, but there's a such thing as having a likable group. We're a very unlikable team. I'd say the positives of it is Aaron Judge and I would say Cody Bellinger, what he's doing, right? What Cam Schlittler's doing on the mound. When Carlos Rodon, some of the great adjustments he's made this year, right? He was a 2-pitch pitcher. He went to 3 and then 4. He's got some wrinkles on his fastball. Very likable changes. And then all of a sudden you look at the least likable thing about the Yankees by far right now is their commitment to bad young players. I would probably say it's like their Achilles heel is selling you on a lemon that they just slapped a sticker on. They're like, he's a former first rounder. I'm like, I don't know if you guys know what this stuff means. They're not good.
Volpe in Italian means fox. So shouldn't his walk-up song now on be, what does the fox say? Oh my God.
So we're saying he should change the Trap Queen.
It should be literally anything other than Trap Queen. I mean, his last song was like this ditzy pop thing that he was doing.
Okay.
And that was terrible. This is, I mean, come on. Like,
you know what? I have a question for you though about it's less so about Volpe, but it's also Volpe, Wells. Well, we could throw McMahon out of there. I don't know if there's anything there. He's never been good, and he wasn't good in Colorado. He wasn't good here. So I guess the question is, if you brought maybe a new hitting coach, is it possible that they can fix what's going on?
I mean, potentially. I just think this is all mental, and I think he needs a reset, and I think he needs to be in AAA. That's what I think. And I feel like when you saw, and I'm not saying he's killing it, but when you saw Josh Young get sent down, that told me, okay, Volpe can get sent down too.
Wasn't Jackson Holiday sent down?
Yeah, he's younger, but yes, he was.
Because Jackson Holiday was sent down. Now, mind you, Jackson Holiday still hasn't done a lick in Major League Baseball.
It's actually kind of funny. His stats are starting to look just like Volpe, like when Volpe's at his best.
You know what it goes to show you? It goes to show you prospects haven't done anything, right? Jake, I was telling you that, right? And Cameron Maben was putting that on Twitter, and I loved it. Loved every second of it. A lot of veteran players, at least according to him, they said that, a prospect just means that they haven't done jack. It's not the word choice he used, but they haven't done jack, the big league level. It's true. It doesn't matter if you're at the top of a ranking, because guess what? You go to the top of the rankings, then you get onto a big league field, and it's all even now. You have to perform, and there's no excuses. And so I will say I want to advance this conversation to Max Fried because he's off to my left here, and he pitched really well. He actually gave us some length, which is important. It just is. I know when we're sitting in a game like this and you see Paul Blackburn, he's the human victory cigar for both teams. If you see him,
DFA'd,
someone's won.
That's a funny thing.
This
was just... Well, I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan of him. He also gave up a home run. But
that was a rocket.
That thing was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
But I think they were just like, let him have his fun. We're cutting him tomorrow because Yarbrough sounds like he's coming back. So it felt like this was just kind of like, let him go out there and have a last hurrah. He'll never wear pinstripes again.
I mean, which is fine, and that's why he was brought here. It was the exact same conversation when they were mentioning we may get Kenta Maeda, right? Cookie, same exact deal. Marcus Stroman, I know they were saying, could we move you to the bullpen? They would have put Stroman in this role. If we're up 9-2, just go out there, throw 42 pitches. Let's get the game over with. I don't have to throw it to Leiter Jr., have him give up a grand slam for no reason. You do it. If you give up a home run, who cares? They're not coming back. So it was good to see Blackburn in this game. Never thought I'd say that, but it's true. And I want to talk about Fried because right now, Fried showed up. He had the blister issue. This was just before the break. I'm not going to explain it again of the fact that you wanted him to go on the IL. I think a lot of us agreed with that. They've said since it's not the blister. The blister's not an issue, right? And Michael Case talked about the spin rates down all over the place. They don't have an explanation for that. Now, that start that he had today, 7 full 4 hits with just 1 earned run, he had his command today, which is great. He was also good in that Boston game. 6 full of shutout. Really good. The last start he had, though, before that was with at St. Louis. He gives up 7 earned runs. So this is back-to-back quality starts. And I know you were talking about it's a shame that we didn't have Max Fried maybe in a bigger game earlier, but I guess the question is, what is Max Fried going to look like? He looked pretty good against Boston. That's a good team. What's he going to look like in that Houston series? What's he going to look like at Fenway? That is where boys become men. When you go into Fenway Park, hostile environment, they're going to toss you the ball. Same exact test for Rodon. It's going to be the same thing. I'm actually really looking forward to how maybe a Cam Schlittler looks in that role. Do you think Max Fried is, I don't want to say back and it's just a total solution, but do you think the spin rate issue is behind us, all that?
That's a good question. I think right now it is. But here's the thing about the blister, and this again is why I wouldn't even be against putting him on the IL even still, is because you have to get that thing taken care of because at any point it can pop up again. And I mean, obviously I wouldn't throw him on the IL right now, but I think he's not out of the woodwork yet. Like, this isn't a guarantee, like he's done dealing with this. I'm just hoping he's good to go. I mean, I'm looking at the spin rate right now, and everything appears to be in order. It's anything crazy. The spin rate on the slider today was up 149 RPMs on the average, so that's something. 51 on the sinker, was down 4 on the cutter. That's normal, right? I mean, really, the RPMs, if they're inside of that like kind of 50 range, you're good.
And like a little bit of a threshold. And this isn't a hamstring. I want that to be understood.
Exactly.
Is that this is not a hamstring. This isn't a lat issue where we should have given him 2 weeks for it, and having pitched him, say, in this game could amplify a potential for a blister in his next start. There's nothing to be said that if you threw him on the IL and he showed back up, he wouldn't have a blister game one. A blister can just pop up out of the woodworks. There was no reason for it to show up in the first place. He just deals with this. This is the 5th time he's dealt with a blister. So that's the one thing. If the Yankees are telling us there's no issue with the blister, I'm just going to simply believe what they're saying, and I'm going to place all the responsibility on Max Fried to locate. And so far, in his last 2 starts, he's located. He's located. There hasn't been a ton of hard contact, and that's what we're looking for. I know the shifting still defensively is to be desired. You texted me about it. Every time that there's a ground ball pitcher and there's a ground ball right to shortstop, it is like clockwork. My phone will buzz, and he's like right where Volpe should have been standing.
Every time.
Every single time.
But hey, at least we shaded to the second base side. I would rather have you give that up than give up one where Volpe is literally supposed to be at that spot. And I'm not blaming Volpe, okay? Mm-hmm. We were getting on Volpe about his hitting. That is what it is, but that's over with. We talked about that enough. That's not on Volpe. That's on whoever's setting the alignment. I hate the Yankees' defensive alignment more than anything about this team. I freaking despise it. The idea that you're just giving away these free base hits essentially because you're shading to the second base side at shortstop. And I just think those, more often than not, I think those shifts actually hurt you. But I also think people ignore it because it's like getting cute, right? It's using analytics. And so I just think they're stuck in their ways, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate watching number 11. Well, maybe just in general, but I hate watching number 11 over there at second base, literally on second base, behind second base, and they hit it right in the gap between the shortstop, second base, and third. I hate it. I absolutely despise it. So I'm really tired of seeing that. It's really getting to be frustrating. I mean, it has been frustrating. So
fortunately, it's not Volpe's fault.
It's not his fault.
When
and
they
that's,
look,
that's
they
another
pull
thing.
Their hat out and they look at those sheets. They're being told exactly where to stand. And I know they'll probably say, no, this took away this hit. A ball was hit right over second base. I was there. I hear what they're saying. It just feels like the traditional way may have been a better way.
I feel like they need like the quarterback, like the play, the play wristband that they would have.
That's like the opposite of what I honestly, I just want them to stand and have an expectation of where they should be standing.
Oh, no. I agree with you, but it's silly how they have like a card in their hat. They have a card in their back pocket.
100%.
It just kind of makes
ridiculous.
more sense if you're going to have, why have one separate card? Why not just have like it just shows you, okay, when he's up, I stand here.
No, I get it. Yankee fan girl for life. Thank you for the 5. Really appreciate that. Says it's hard to be happy about wins. The only home runs I enjoy are Stanton's, not even Judge's now. Obviously, Aaron Judge is struggling, but hit a missile today. I didn't stand up for the home runs when at the game Monday. So I think right now there's a stigma as far as how the Yankees score. And the Yankees fans, for the most part, think when we face good pitching, you can't score like this. And I'll go over the scoring because I think that's justified in today's game. Trent Grisham obviously hit a solo home run. Aaron Judge hit a 2-run home run. Cody Bellinger hit a solo home run, right? Jason Dominguez hit a ground rule double, so there's some progress, fangirl. Ryan McMahon, back to the point, hits a 3-run home run. Ben Rice hits a home run. Jason Dominguez singles, Austin Wells homers. Now, home runs are good, but when it's the only thing, you're in trouble. It's like steak. You're not going to eat a ribeye every single meal, every single day. You will die. But if you have it once every, I don't know, couple days, every few days, you have a nice little ribeye, right? Right? Ribeye cap. Great meal. Awesome. The Yankees have steak every day. They're waiting for the steak dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What's for breakfast? Steak. Lunch. Steak frites. T-bone steak for dinner. That's what they do. And for the Yankees to go out there and be taken seriously in those series with Houston and Fenway, there's going to have to be some variation to how they score. You're going to have to see some guys hit some ground balls in situations that call for a ground ball. Infield's playing back with the bases loaded. They're giving up the run. You need to be able to execute. And I know it's football terminology here, but you need to be able to take what the defense is giving you. Can we do that? It's a question for the Yankees. And I would be curious to know, even for Michael Kay, right? The head man to cover this team, does he think that this team can take what the defense gives it, or are they waiting to do things in their style? And I think that's what Yankee Fangirl for Life here is getting at, is that it's hard to get excited for the home runs because in a week, we're going to need a variation of offense. And I guess I shouldn't say, because I'm not going to say they can't do it. They just haven't shown it to us just yet.
Yeah, no, I get that. It is funny because, home runs are still incredibly exciting, but it does get to that point where it's like, yeah, this is all fun and dandy, but when you beat the Nationals and you beat up on bad teams and you're hitting all these nukes, it's like, well, then I expect you to do that against, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Seattle Mariners, right? The Dodgers. And then you don't really see the same. So, yeah, it's funny, man. It is how a play that, again, is so exciting in this sport is almost like they lead the league in home runs, and home runs will never stop being exciting. I don't care what anyone says. But I understand why people are complaining about them. They're not complaining about scoring runs. They're complaining about being over-reliant on the least likely event on the field to happen.
How, because that's the funny thing that you mentioned that, because when your dad brought up the conversation, this is several weeks ago now, he brought up the fact that, yeah, we score a certain amount of runs, but we don't score the runs that you need.
Yeah.
In a situation where maybe a Ryan McMahon or a Jason Dominguez comes up and it's 5-0 already, the other team's low leverage relievers are in the game, they may hit a 3-run home run, which tells the story that, okay, it's now 8-0. Your offense looks a lot better than a lot of the offenses around baseball. But what they don't tell you, there's no context there, is that if the game was 1-0 and maybe the other team's high leverage guy or you're playing a better team, the Yankees are less likely than really any team in baseball to score from there. That's the interesting part. Henry Smith with the 2. Henry, really appreciate that. And am I seeing an AI of Anthony Volpe doing Uber Eats? I'm pretty sure that's what I'm seeing right now. It's small on my screen, but I'm fairly certain what I'm seeing.
It is definitely. By the way, having done Uber Eats, you don't have to worry all that get up.
That's awesome. Henry says, man. Scoutmaster Boone loves Volpedo. 20 stolen bases, 20 home run year. I think it kind of goes to show you guys the whole 30-30, 20-20 thing doesn't mean jack. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stolen bases and home runs. How about situational hitting?
Yeah.
How about that? So I actually wanted to do a rundown with you, Jake, because I'm curious, because I always want to advance this, right? That's my goal. I have to ask you, are you happy with the approach of Trent Grisham? Like, if you felt like bases loaded, nobody out, right? Osama bin Volpe. Wow. Appreciate it, Apex. If the bases were loaded with nobody out, would you trust Trent Grisham in an at-bat against a good team with a high-leverage reliever?
I can't do anything now. They fused him.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so should I trust Trent Grisham?
Yes.
Yep.
You would. Perfect. How about Caballero?
Yes.
You would. Okay, great. He's on the bench. How about Ben Rice? Would you trust him?
Yes.
You would. Now the list is about to fall off a cliff here, but there's a couple more. Cody Bellinger and Aaron Judge. I would assume you would trust those two.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Jazz Chisholm?
No.
Right. How about Jason Dominguez?
That's tough. He's kind of hit or miss, but I feel like he's depends on what side of the plate he's on. I think as a left-hander, I think I do trust Jason Dominguez. As a right-handed bat, I don't.
Okay, perfect. So I would probably, me personally, I would say I don't want to see Jason Dominguez in any high leverage situation at all. Okay? Now, I already know your answer with Volpe, Wells, and McMahon. So I want you to understand what you've just said. Grisham, one of the answers was Caballero, who does not play.
Yeah.
Grisham, Rice, Judge, Bellinger, that's the end of the list. Do you understand that means by definition, the majority of hitters in the lineup you don't trust with bases loaded, nobody out, and high leverage? So why is it that people think we're boom or bust? No, that's just not good. That's not good.
No, it's not. It's not good at all. Yeah, I mean, by the way, I'm going to say this about Jason Dominguez. I'm going to change that because I don't think he's good in high leverage at all. So I just looked it up.
Paul Goldschmidt, by the way, Hollow brought it up. Paul Goldschmidt would be good against lefties in high leverage. I would trust him in that situation. Against righties, the answer is no.
No.
It's disappointing. So what it goes to show you guys when we go into the offseason, my focus for the Yankees as we go into the winter, I know we're not there yet. My focus is getting more players in our lineup where I can say yes to that question. That's it.
That's an easy one.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, Stan wasn't in there. So, yeah, that's
I trust
the easiest
Rosario.
answer ever.
When
Rosario,
he's,
interesting.
Yeah, when he's in, I mean, I trust him.
Yeah. No, he just wasn't on, obviously, today's lineup, which is what I was reading off of. Stan also doesn't play every day, and he should. Does not play every day. It's disappointing.
In Apex, if Boone is SRS against Astros, Caballero starts shortstop.
We all agree.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees with that. There's no remix to it. The Yankees perceive it that we can't go where we need to go unless Volpe figures it out. I just tend to disagree.
Yeah. Serious, by the way. SRS. That's funny. Apex, thank you for the 2. Can confirm, by the way, when you're making a super chat, now I know. Like in the car when I wasn't driving and trying to create a super chat. My dad was driving.
Okay.
But I think I told you this, but it was so hard, dude. There's like a delay, and you are so much easier to misspell and typo and all that. It's wild.
Wait, so what do you mean it's delayed?
Like when you're typing on your phone, it then shows up like way after the fact, and then it catches up and it goes, and you're like, wait, that's not what I said. And then you try to, press the backspace, and then it goes. And you're like, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. So anytime anybody takes time out of their day to drop a super, obviously it's a huge deal anyway. But having gone through the supers, that was insane. So I appreciate every single one of you.
You would think that they would get the UI
Man, they need to
figured
just hire
out for
us.
people who are for people who are willing to invest into whatever channel that you like. Right, for whatever creators. That's pretty ridiculous.
And the hype thing, apparently. So, I know it sounds silly, but apparently this is a way to kind of push the smaller creators. That's why they added hype. So if you guys want to help out the channel further, obviously be sure to like it. Like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And be sure to hype on your phone. Hype the video. You can hype 3 videos a month, I believe. So if you hype the Yankees Unloaded video... If everybody hyped a Yankees Unloaded video 3 times every month, we would get, I don't know. YouTube says we'll get more traction, I guess. But anyway.
They do a hell of a job with their UI. By the way, guys, just just for a little warning here, we are 64 subscribers away from 10,000.
Love it.
So yeah, we're getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Do I see Ryan McMuffin? Apex with the two.
Ryan
Apex
McMuffin.
really says Ryan McMuffin can at least not swing his shoes off. I don't know if I can even pull out a compliment for his swing. So obviously I'm proud of him for hitting the 3-run home run. We'll see if he can build on it. I won't speak for the future. I have no idea. Yeah. And Dragon King 123058 with the 20. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Says, I went to 3 out of the 4 against the Red Sox. It was disappointing. When we play good teams, we can't seem to hit the ball. The home runs are amazing, but they don't come in games that matter. Guys, home runs are the best thing you can do in baseball. It's the hardest thing to do. There's a reason that players get into the Hall of Fame, for the most part, for hitting 500 home runs. 500 over the course of a 20-year career.
Nice addition.
They're hard
there.
to hit, guys.
For the most part.
For the most part, right? And it's the hardest thing to do. It's rare. But teams have figured if we just hit more of what's most rare, we're going to be the best team. Wrong. You need the most variation. Home runs are good, but if you can't score in other ways, you're guaranteed to screw up the game. You are. Because the team that wants to hit the home run every single at bat, when there's a man on second base and nobody out and a left-hander up, what are you looking for? I'm looking to put the ball on the ground hard. If it goes through, awesome. It's runners on the corners or we score. Or at worst, the second or first baseman field the ball and the guy's at third and I've teed the guy up on deck to put the ball in play for a run. Simple baseball. And for those of you who have been watching this game for years, 20, 30, 40 years, you've watched exactly what I'm explaining. This isn't new, but to the Yankees it is. That's not the way the Yankees play. So obviously what Dragon King is bringing up, again, Dragon, thank you for the super. We really appreciate you, obviously supporting our channel in this way. But Jake, we showed in that Boston series, I think the biggest thing is that we showed we can't have any variation in our offense. Guys like, I think the biggest, the player that popped off the screen to me was Aaron Judge and Jazz. The lack of situational hitting, it can't happen. It can't. And the focus should be on these players who we do pay a lot of money to. So those are the players I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on the top 6 of our lineup, 7, 8, 9. Those guys are designated fielders. Volpe, if he's going to be playing, I want Caballero. But if Volpe's going to be at shortstop, field your position and just be done with it. You don't walk. You don't do any of that stuff. McMahon, same deal. Field the hot corner. Do your job. I'm not going to expect anything offensively. If you come up with nobody out and the bases are loaded or a man's in scoring position, I need you to just do a job and pass the baton. If you can do that, I think the Yankees can have a shot. But, I'm not making any predictions here.
Yeah. No, it's no, I get that. I do get that. We'll see tomorrow. I'm really curious to see what the lineup is going to be like. And let's actually switch gears over for tomorrow. And let's do the voicemails after that. Right?
Perfect.
So tomorrow we got Davis Martin, who I've never heard of before. He has a 5-9 record. He has a 3.93 ERA, a 1.26 WHIP. In 112 and a third innings, he has given up 107 hits. He has 80 strikeouts, 35 walks, and he's given up 17 home runs. This is going to be in Chicago. The Yankees already left for Chicago right after the game. That's why it was a day game. Weird scheduling here. Normally, they don't even play Thursday, and now we're talking about them having a day game on Wednesday and then playing a night game at 7:40 in Chicago on Thursday. So weird to start a whole series on a Thursday, but it does happen. Will Warren is going for the Yankees, wanting to kind of bounce back from that last start. 7-6, 4.47 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. He has 131 innings pitched. He's given up 126 hits. He has 146 strikeouts, 58 walks, and 15 homers. He's going to need to keep the ball in the yard. The White Sox are terrible. There's no other way to really put it. They're 48-85. Awful. Just absolutely terrible. But Lennon Sosa is one of their guys that, is hitting well and, has had a good year. He's kind of their best player, at least, this year. So he's somebody you're going to want to keep him in the yard.
Who is that?
You don't even know who Lennon Sosa is?
No idea who that is.
John Lennon Sosa.
That's who I thought. When you said it, I thought of John Lennon. I mean, this is with all due respect. Obviously, he's putting up the numbers.
Yeah.
But another interesting aspect of this is road Will Warren, right? Will Warren's been really good at Yankee Stadium. Who can he be in Chicago? Now, it at least gives him a little wrinkle, right? You go on the road.
Yeah.
But it's also against Chicago, so best of both worlds here. I would assume Will Warren is going to have a day. That's my guess.
Yeah. So, we'll see what ends up happening there. They still have somehow, some way. They still have Luis Robert Jr. He wasn't traded at the deadline. They've been trying to trade him forever. He's on the IL, though, so he'll miss that. Miguel Vargas is another player that they really like. He was playing a lot better. Now his stats have come down. Really, there's not anybody in this lineup to freak out about. Lennon Sosa is the best hitter in this lineup. It's not even close. He's hitting 270. So, that's where you're at. I mean, Mike Tauchman, I guess, he's had a good year. He's hitting 278, but former Yankee.
He's still in the league? I liked him as a Yankee, by the way.
Austin Slater was one of their best players.
And White Sox fans are talking about a new stadium. I'm like, why would you get a new stadium? Your team sucks. There should be a rule. You're not allowed to sniff a new stadium or arena. If you're playing in basketball, if you're in football, you should not get a new stadium unless you can win a certain amount of games.
This is embarrassing, though. To be fair, this is just freaking embarrassing. I mean, the Yankees better not lose to this team because they don't even care. I mean, look at who they're trotting out. Kyle Teal is their catcher. Lennon Sosa's their first baseman. Chase Mydroth is their second baseman. Miguel Vargas. I'm looking at Gary's face while reading this. Miguel Vargas is their third baseman. Colson Montgomery is their shortstop. So is Brooks Baldwin. Who are these people, man? Andrew Benintendi. Brooks Baldwin is their center fielder.
Brooks Baldwin sounds like a Little League right fielder. The dude who couldn't catch the fly balls. By the way, I guess also what's important.
By the way,
do you want to know another important aspect of this series that we're playing with Chicago? My expectation is you guys at least need to take 3 of 4. If you don't sweep, but Toronto plays Milwaukee.
Yeah, Kyle Teal is good, by the way. But
right. Toronto plays Milwaukee. They're going to drop games in this series. What does it mean? It means if the Yankees can take care of business against a dog water baseball team, and Toronto does what we expect, they're running into the best team in baseball statistically. They're not going to sweep Milwaukee. We should be 2.5 games out at worst by the end of this series. And that should tell you the story right there.
This is insane. So, remember Yuendris Gomez? It feels like this season's been going on forever because you forget it was still this season that I complained about getting rid of him and then he went to the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. It was this season. It happened earlier in the year.
It's forever ago.
Gomez is not only on the White Sox now, he's their 4th starter in the rotation.
How's he doing?
Hanging in there, I guess. His last outing, he pitched 4 2/3 and gave up 2 hits and had 6 Ks, no runs.
Yeah, I'm looking for 3 of 4. It's just that simple. You need to take 3 of 4. Toronto's playing Milwaukee. I don't know how long that series is. Somebody obviously could.
No, they need to win every game in this series, bro.
I mean, of course I agree with you. You
put yourself in this position. So it's going to be this Martin guy, right? Davis Martin versus Will Warren. You got Rodon taking on Yuendris Gomez. Mm-hmm. You got Cam Schlittler on the mound against Shane Smith. Shane Smith's really good, to be fair, but still. Then you got Luis Heel taking on Martin Perez. That dude has been pitching forever.
It's true.
So
no, I mean I agree with you.
Yeah.
You
Although
have
he's
the
had a
edge
good
in
year.
every single game. We just know that baseball doesn't tend to go that way, like predicting sweeps, unless you're literally. But I guess we are technically running into a Colorado, if you will. But Colorado just beat the Dodgers just this week. So it just kind of goes to show you the unpredictability of baseball. The one thing that can't happen is you cannot split. This is bare minimum 3 of 4, if not 4 of 4. And then if you do that, you're going to be right on the heels of Toronto. Then that series with Toronto is if we win the series, we're going to be near first place, hovering. That's what you want. That's the importance of these useless baseball games is they tee you up to create pressure. And that's all we're doing right now. We're not the stats and what McMahon did and the ground rule double of Dominguez. None of that stuff matters at all. All that matters is that we won the game and we put on enough pressure to where when we play those teams, we play Toronto, we play Houston, we play Boston, they have to go beat us in those games to go where they want to go. Because I'll tell you right now, Jake, if we go into September and we lose those series at Fenway and we lost it all year long, there's nothing our manager or our GM can possibly say about our team. It's done.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can sell us. They told us we're going to turn it on later. We're going to figure it out. And we tried on Yankees Unloaded to tee you guys up for you were horrible all year, but you're going to get there just in time. Can you prove it right there at the end and pass the final exam? They're going to have to prove that to us before we give them really any props at all.
Everyone won today, so that's annoying.
Toronto should not have won, man. I don't know if you watched that game.
I didn't, but I did see the highlights on that. And Barger, he's good, man. He is. He's really good. The Red
runs in the
Sox.
eighth. It's a bummer.
Of course, the Red Sox just eke one out again. And then who was the other one? Seattle eked one out against the Padres. So
San Diego had the tying run at third base. Final inning of the game. Didn't come through.
Kansas City beat the White Sox, so obviously it won't matter. If if we're talking about Kansas City even getting close to the Yankees at that point, then we've lost the plot. Texas, they won 20-3 today against the Angels. Yeah. So
who beat Anaheim?
The Rangers, they won 20-3.
Oh my God. What?
Yep. The Chargers lost to the Dallas Cowboys 20-3.
That's just...
that's insane. There was Higashioka went yard, Peterson.
That's almost more unbelievable that the Cowboys beat someone 20-3.
No, I'll hit you. I'll do you one better. Kyle Higashioka, 5 RBIs, led the team.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good for Kyle. We like Kyle.
He's having a good year, kind of. Almost a 700 OPS.
He's exactly
243. 243 batting average.
He's exactly a Yankee. He's he'll pop homers in the most random games ever. I remember his tenure very well.
You can't forget about his legendary Linsanity run in the spring training games. He had 9 home runs.
Yeah.
And there were people
of course.
Should he start?
Yeah. So let's get to our voicemails. Who left a voicemail for us this time?
We got Ed W, Guy,
Perfect.
and Ninja. So let's start with Ed W.
Let's go. All 3.
This came at 4:18 today. Sorry, guys. We knew this was going to be late. Wasn't sure how late, but here we are.
Okay, coming out of this Yankee.
1 second. Is that playing? Did you hear that?
Yeah, we heard it.
Okay. I couldn't hear it at all, so.
Game at W and birthday girl Hannah snapping a losing streak that started Game 3 of the World Series. How does it feel to get a birthday win, Hannah?
Really good.
How good is really good?
Amazing.
Oh, that's cool. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the home run derby won today, but I don't know what Aaron Boone is doing with Anthony Volpe. Do you?
Nope.
No, he's a radish when he plays.
Yeah,
he's
it's
a
one thing
radish?
to ruin this kid's confidence by rolling him out there, going 0 for 5, but hitting him 7th, He left 8 men on base. 8 men on base. At some point, this team is going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those runs to score. It's malpractice to the team, and somebody's got to stop it. I just don't know how. He what? He sold?
Yeah, he sold.
Yeah, he sold. All right, guys. Well, as usual, thanks for a great show. Look forward to hearing from you tonight.
Guys, on the young man terminology, he sold.
He sold. I love
By
it.
the way, guys, if you want to know why Anthony Volpe hit 7th, it's not for any type of good reason, but here's the reason. If you take a look at Volpe's stats, right? I've got his stats right up here in front of me. Anthony Volpe, and we're not going to count his plate appearances. We're just going to count his at-bats. He doesn't walk a ton anyway. You know this. 466 at-bats. He's scored 56 runs this year. He has 95 hits. That is obviously bad, especially for a player who can run. He has 18 home runs. He is only, exclusively, Jake, trying to hit home runs. Now, you also look up, he has 65 RBIs. Do you know why he has 65 RBIs? Because traffic is frequently on base with him up at the plate. And hitting him 7th forces that. Bases loaded, 1 out, man on 3rd and 2nd, nobody out. And he'll hit a fly ball, trying to hit a home run. It dies at the track more times than not. And it's caught, and he'll have a sac fly or whatever have you. And he'll pile up RBIs, very similar to what you see at Austin Wells. Now, that's fool's gold. Because when the season ends, they're going to look up and say, Volpe drove in 70 and stole 20 bags, right? He hit 20 homers. That's pretty good. It can definitely get better. He went through a slump there, but if we can get Volpe going, Guy, this is the reason why. This is why. They want to create counting stats by putting him in a certain spot in the order, and it really gaslights you from your takeaway. If you watch Yankees baseball at all, with any regularity, you would watch him. He sticks out like a sore thumb. This is the reason why he's a topic on this podcast, no matter it seems like what we do as a team.
No, it's true. We appreciate you, Ed, wherever you are. You might not be here, but we still appreciate you. All right, Guy.
Well, hail to the victors. We swept them. Can you believe it's 77 pitches? That's 2 more, and they would have matched James Bond's love interest at 79. I mean, and Volpe made 2 out of 3 outs. If the inning went longer, could he have possibly made all 3 outs? I mean, I don't know what else we can say about this guy, but, he left another 8 runners in scoring position today. His last 68 games now he has the worst OPS, the worst on-base percentage since 1905. He should be in AAA somewhere, not on our team, somewhere else. Had enough of him, although I think Wells still has a little something. He's played half of the time that Volpe has, or at least as far as at bats go. I think he looks like a guy that if he hits down on the baseball, it creates some backspin, like the old method, like a traditional hitter, like Mookie Betts. He just looks like he'd be much better than those wide swings that he has. That's about it. Just want to say that the 41 minutes it took, and you're probably not familiar with this movie, but the Godfather was killed in his garden right around the 41st minute. So that was a long inning. All right, I'm out.
I love the references, the James Bond, the Godfather. I actually finally know what they're talking about now. I'm sorry. When he said Volpe had a chance to make all 3 outs in 1 inning, I lost it. That's sad.
Yeah, and someone actually was asking me earlier if they think it'll ever be possible. And Apex with the super, and staying on topic here, Apex with the 2 says, has anyone else got out 2 of 3 in the same inning before? Absolutely. It's definitely happened before.
Yeah.
It's definitely happened. Now, Apex, again, thank you for the 2. This getting 3 outs, that may never happen. Never. There's just no possible way.
Okay, so if that were to happen, you would have to see 27 batters in an inning?
There's no way.
But it's not just seeing 27. You have to understand how crazy that is. It means 24 batters. And they all have to be different than the one guy. All got on base and were not thrown out in any way.
Right.
That's just, I don't think that'll ever happen. But that's still hilarious.
He could do it, but he has to get up at the plate 3 times. That's the thing. Anthony Volpe just went 0 for 5 against one of the worst teams in the league. It didn't matter who he plays. He's going to go into the Chicago series, probably do nothing offensively, and then it's only going to get harder from there. And our audience is going to do the predictable thing, which is what we would say, is where's Caballero? Caballero shouldn't be in the series in the games next week. He should be in the games now, tonight. He should have played today. And we've been saying this. And as we go into the Chicago series, Caballero should be the shortstop again. He's not a bench player. Maybe he should be a bench player, and you should have a better shortstop where Caballero can be a weapon for you off the bench. That makes sense. The problem is the Yankees are using Caballero like a bench player because that's the traditional role that he's in. Anthony Volpe's not a starter. So given the fact that you don't have a starting level shortstop, you got to go with the next best thing, which is your backup. So that's the interesting part about it. I think Caballero makes the Yankees much better. It also solves another problem, Jake, and this is something that you were really high on Caballero about, is that he's not trying to hit home runs to change the game. Matter of fact, in the media, he said, I don't really care what I do to change the game. I just need to have an impact. That sounds a lot like what Cody Bellinger says. It sounds a lot like what Aaron Boone was saying Paul Goldschmidt was trying to do earlier this year. Some of the guys that were more situational, that's what I need to see more out of. I need to see more of that. And so will Volpe sit? I have no idea. Based on the answers that Aaron Boone gave us pregame, and it sounds a lot like they schedule these days off for Volpe. So if that's the case, I don't think Volpe sits at all in Chicago. I'm sorry.
I feel like Michael Scott right now.
Do you agree with that? Because
no. Fuck no.
No, I'm not saying do you agree to do it. None of us agree. I'm saying do you agree with the premise that the Yankees aren't thinking about benching Volpe because of what happened today? I think these are all scheduled. I do.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, he's horrendous, Gary. Like, even the Yankees won't have him in the lineup tomorrow. There's no way.
I bet you he does play.
He can't be in the lineup. It's going to be Caballero.
Guarantee it.
It's going to be Caballero. And I'm going to go with, let's see. Tomorrow. Will Warren's on the mound. Ben Rice has caught Will Warren a decent amount. We might see Ben Rice at catcher tomorrow. Ben Rice catching. Wait, what handedness is this guy? That matters.
He's a righty.
He's a righty. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Austin Wells will catch. Ben Rice at first. Second base, Jazz. Shortstop, Caballero.
Are you saying what should happen, or are you predicting what you think is going to happen?
I think this is what's going to happen. Ryan McMahon at third. Left field, Cody Bellinger. Center, Trent Grisham. Right field, Giancarlo Stanton. DH Judge. That's exactly what will happen tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I had more confidence in the Volpe thing. Mm-hmm. I wish. It's not what I would do, because that's not what this is about. If we were just going to do what I wanted to do and what you wanted to do, Caballero would have been the shortstop the second he joined this team, right? This was the coverage from Michael Kay, right, from Jack Curry, is that maybe some people think the Yankees should do something different at shortstop, but the one snag to it, and this was fair of their coverage, was that the Yankees didn't have any options. You even said maybe Jazz can go play shortstop for the time being. That was actually a discussion.
Yeah.
Now the Yankees have traded for a player who can actually field the position at shortstop. We know that. and they still aren't making the decision. They're running this player out there. So Max Gardner says Braves podcast today indicated they want to trade for Volpe. Let us know what you want for him.
How about you just take him? I don't need anything.
You guys can take him.
I don't need anything. At this point, I'm going to say this. This is going to sound bold. I don't care. Volpe's so bad, it wouldn't hurt. I'm not saying he'd be amazing. But, like, George Lombard Jr., if he was called up tomorrow, couldn't be any worse than what Volpe is right now.
No chance. Just because of the simple fact that he has an arm.
Yeah, but I mean, even hitting, like, do you think he's going to come up and go 1 for 38?
Probably not.
No. And you and I are both on record saying we don't think he's ready to play.
Nope.
This is what it means, in my opinion. This is what it means to have the bar lowered. When you lower the bar like that, opens up the door for anything. Like, I mean, it's like part of me is like, okay, yeah, just like kind of let him figure it out, whatever. But it's also part of me is like, yeah, actually most of me is like, no, I have been fair. He's had, because we didn't really get on getting rid of Volpe and sending him down to AAA and saying kind of those, kind of over the top things until it was no longer over the top. It's now justified.
You've seen enough of Volpe after 1,644 at-bats?
Yes.
You feel like you've seen enough?
I've seen enough. He's disparaging your father's number. He's disparaging Brett Gardner's number. I've already said this a billion times, but yeah. That's a really good number. 11 is 11, by the way, is the lowest number not retired.
Yep.
So the idea that Anthony Volpe is wearing that and he's literally the worst player in the league right now.
That is a primo number.
That is just not it. You know what? They need to just make Anthony Volpe wear like 73.
His number should just say BB on the back. Just bat boy.
It should actually 60.
Go get the bat and take it back to the dugout.
We'll give him, what is it, Billy Crystal's number when he played that one?
Yes. Will Ferrell, all those at-bats that they were taking in spring training. Yeah, it really should be that. And it's interesting because we're going to go into this offseason and we're going to go into arbitration. Jake, I was sitting there floating the number $4 million. Not like I would give him $4 million. I just know starting shortstops going through arbitration, they just always get that number. And then you were talking about, oh no, he might float towards $6 million, $6.5 million. I'll tell you right now, if Brian Cashman agrees to retain this player for any amount of millions of dollars, we need another Titan sub. You guys should be gone. There's just no explanation as to why you would try and fix this. Why do you want to do that? Why?
Yeah. I'm over talking about Anthony Volpe, Gary. We we have absolutely nailed it.
Good.
On that.
He deserves it. He sucks.
All right. Let's wrap it up with Ninja Hot Dog, the last voicemail.
Hopefully it's not about Volpe. Is there...
Everyone, grab your brooms because we have officially stat padded against the same team 3 days in a row. It's pretty good. Glad to see Bree did good today. No hits through 5 innings is very impressive. Of course, I would like him to do it against a team that actually is good, but I'll take what we can get. He's been shaky because of the blister, but I'm happy to see he did good today. Judge, he knew he should have been benched, and so he apologized to everyone by hitting a home run. I still don't think he's a great captain, but at least he's trying. 41, pretty good. Hopefully he catches up to Cal. I hope Cal doesn't break the record, knock on wood. Anyways, we did good today. Hopefully we can keep this up. Obviously we're going to beat the White Sox. Obviously we're going to drop a game, at least one game, because our team has no fight in them. Fire baboons.
Love it. So There's one snag on that. So again, thank you for the diamond level voicemail there.
Yeah.
He was good against Boston.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I that is why it's not just the Nationals. Like, it's happened now back to back.
Yes.
That's 10 days. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
It was our offense that was the problem. If our offense did anything worth a damn in that game, we probably look at Max Fried and we're probably all agreeing, oh, he's back. But we don't, because we look at the outcome, right? And we didn't get the outcome we wanted because the offense just wet the sheets. That's part of the deal. You pitch and then they hit. Max Fried's not coming up taking any at-bats. And HS says Higashioka hit a 37-mile-an-hour curveball off Peraza to make it 20. No, he did not.
A former Yankee on Yankee crime.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, good for Kyle.
Yeah, good for him. And Peraza, I mean, no one's going to care. So that's the thing. When a position player gets shelled, it's like, well, they're not a pitcher, so no one gives a rip, you know? It's like you kind of just go out there and maybe you're a meme a little bit, you know, for the first 3 days after it, and then people forget. So, yeah, tomorrow Will Warren's on the mound, taking on Davis Martin. It's 7:40 p.m. Eastern time over in Chicago. Yeah, just take care of business. 4-game set against the White Sox. You get ready for the end of the month, and then you face the Astros. And September call-ups, I guess we'll see what ends up happening. I would love to see Spencer Jones called up. I don't trust this team to do that any longer. So I don't know who they're going to call up, but it's not going to be anything glamorous, I don't think. And if they do call up Spencer Jones, then I'll be really happy. But, yeah, that's going to do it. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Be sure to check out, if you want to become a member, the link is pinned in the chat, is also in the description. If you want to join our Discord, the link is in the description. And again, if you subscribe, you'll be entered for a chance to win a Yankees jersey. We are getting really close. We're 64 away from 10,000. So, yeah, that's all I got. Appreciate you guys. Hype the video.
Yeah, and what should we put for the comment section?
Oh, good question. Let's do...
You could say get us to 10K subs. Something of that nature. Something about subbing to the channel. Because we're so close. I want to give away this jersey.
10K subs.
10K subs. And of course, hype the video, like the video.